so I usually just try to talk with non-important stuff here. And we are now officially live with the Scallywags Sketchcast for ComfyCon. I'm your host, Darren J. Genren. My partner, as always, wants to know what love is. He wants you to tell him that's Obsidian Abnormal. And joining us this week is Garth Graham. Baby, don't hurt him no more.
Oh, that's quite the intro.
I like it.
I was proud of that one. I came up with that one while taking a shit. The pre-show crap. Just kind of loaded that one up there.
It is important.
Got it all out of your way.
Got it out of my way. It was a good movement. I'm feeling very ready. Artists, how ready are you guys feeling today?
I'm pretty ready.
Yeah, okay, we're always ready.
Because as you know, this is the Scallywags Sketchcast, so we will have 90 minutes on the clock as we bring up the clock there to show it off.
Oh God, the clock.
The clock of doom, the hour and 30 minutes, because I can't get my clock to say 90, is ready to go. And it'll be counting down as we interview Garth and talk about fun things in geek culture. This week, artists, what topic did we decide to draw today?
As always, it's up to the guest.
I think we decided to go with aliens this time.
Yes, we did.
Aliens.
Yeah, why not?
Aliens. Yeah. Aliens.
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 How many times do you need to repeat it, Darren? Are you having trouble with it?
Aliens. Okay. Also, I'd like to point out, okay, this screen right here is the screen of Garth. This screen right here is the screen of the cheater, Obsidian Abnormal, who has already begun laying down line work before I've started the clock.
Oh,
I was
how dare you!
I was just getting set my whole setup, you know, the page.
Yeah, just
the thirds.
Yes.
Garth, as our lovely guest, are you ready to draw, sir?
I am ready to draw. Yes.
This is not a race. It's not a competition.
Are you sure?
It is a competition. Everything I do is a competition, despite me not actually competing.
Yeah. Well, just about to say, you're not even drawing.
I'm not drawing. Okay, we have an hour and 30 on the clock, and we will start it as soon as I bring up the right window. Now.
Wow.
Yes. Well,
that's the kind of
professionalism
we have here.
Okay, so my clock is actually a window in Google Chrome, right? And I had 3 Google Chrome windows up. I had the YouTube channel up so that I can monitor questions from the audience. If you guys have questions, the easiest way for me to spot it will be off the YouTube channel. I will keep an eye on the Twitter account. If you @ me at DernJG, I will try to answer questions there as well. And so I had it up on the YouTube page. I had the actual clock page up. And then because I was running the Hangout page, I had that. So it was basically like playing a 3-shell Monty with every single one of the shells being the clock.
You can't lose.
Which one's the real one? This one, he knows details from my youth, but this one, he has that mole that I remember. Which one do I shoot?
It is a terrible, terrible conundrum, not knowing who to shoot.
Okay, so why don't we stop pretending that Dern's playing around with a clock is fun, and let's focus. Why don't we introduce Garth to
okay?
Yeah.
Our guest this week is Garth Graham. You are the artist for the webcomic Star Power.
Yeah, that is correct.
That is a terrible question, because it's not even a question, it's just
not even a question. It's really kind of more of a statement of fact.
You draw stuff.
I draw stuff. That is in fact a truism.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, you're drawing right now.
Now, Star Power, though, is a new comic, though. You started that... when did you start this comic?
Well, so we started working on Star Power, like the ideas and the initial bits for Star Power started, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago at this point. But we started updating the comic, which is the only date that anybody actually really cares about, in like the end of May, early June, I think it was. So it is really, really new.
So this year is its birth year.
Correct.
As far as its publishing year.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, but that wasn't your first webcomic, and it was Comedity your first webcomic?
Yeah. Community was the first comic that I worked on. I started that up in college, kind of on a whim, and just ran with it as long as I possibly could. Uh, Basically ran with it until, because it was an autobiographical comic,
Hmm.
or pseudo autobiographical comic. There was a lot of things in it that did not actually happen in life. More the pity. But I ran with it basically until all my college friends who were characters in the comic moved away and started doing other non-college-y things, and because then it's weird to like write a comic about the antics that you and your friends get up to, and then suddenly you and your friends are no longer getting up to antics, but you still got to update the thing.
And you start making it up, and it kind of starts feeling pathetic, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I was like, oh,
I can relate. I can relate to
Yeah,
that.
I don't know how I'm just realizing this, but that's exactly one of the main reasons why commissioned had changed this year. Yes.
Yeah, it starts feeling kind of like, why am I making up my life?
Yeah, so it was one of those things that is like, if I'm going to be making up stories, I might as well like really make up the stories and just kind of go
Mhm.
with it, into more actually like tell a story I want to tell rather than just being like whatever I think is amusing will amuse me this week.
And I think we should also note that this is Starcrossed.
That's a different comic.
Star Power is a collaborative effort. You write this with the Mookie.
Yes, Mookie, or if you want to go with his real name or whatever, because not that anyone ever uses it, Michael Taranciano. Yeah. Before Star Power, he's famous for what is he famous for? Oh, Dominic Deegan, Oracle Rock. There we are.
I guess some people read that comic.
It might have been a thing. I don't know. It's
Yeah, it had a very kind of cult following, select few people.
yeah.
So you
Might
had a
have
couple
liked it.
comics. He had a comic, and they all officially stopped, so you guys could work on Star Power. How much hate mail from people that should love you did you get for this?
Shockingly little, actually. Because I mean, yeah. So Dominic Deegan, the comic that everybody actually cared about, came to like an actual end. Like the story wrapped up and the characters went and they had their happily ever afters, or they died, or whatever it is that characters do when the story ends.
Their endings, yes.
Their endings. They got their endings, and all those things like happened. So like the comic came to an end rather than just like stopping. So I mean, there were a lot of people that were like, no, it was so good. I was so sad to see it end. But they were like, but it ended, and that's okay. Endings happen. And so we didn't actually get a lot of hate mail for like you abandoned this project. I can't believe you abandoned things to like go work on something else, because that's not what we did.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's not what Mookie did. No one cared what I did. I just draw things. So.
I was gonna say, sometimes the writer in these situations can get the brunt of the hate really easily.
Yeah, it is kind of bizarre on like how people like will react to how to something will happen in the comic, and one or the two of us will get the responsibility for it, whatever it happens to be. And it's kind of bizarre to see how that pans out, because sometimes people will be we've gotten some instances where something will happen in the comic, and either they really like it and it was Mookie's idea, but they tell me that I did a great job, or it was my idea and they tell Mookie he did a great job, or it's the other way around and they're like, this was awful, you should be ashamed of yourself. Except that was the other guy.
I had nothing to do with it.
It wasn't my fault.
I will admit to being more than happy whenever O gets the blame for something that was totally me. Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah, whatever. I have my own special way of dealing with comments and
largely ignoring them, I think.
No, not really.
Really?
I
pay attention to those?
Yeah, I do. I do actually pay attention to comments. I actually enjoy them. I value them and all that kind of stuff. But when it's negative comments, I have my own special way of dealing with them, and I normally don't respond in terms of like feeding the troll.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I normally kind of just read it and take it into consideration and stuff like that and all that.
Right.
And even when I get the blame for something that is totally dern or stuff like that, I'll
Mhm.
still think to myself, oh yeah, but I still let it happen. It's not
Yeah.
I still let it happen. I like that.
yeah, no, it's not like I have to do exactly what Dern tells me. Like no, I have a voice, so even when it's
Mhm.
Dern's fault, I guess this also means that even when it's my fault, it's still a little bit Dern's
Still a
fault.
little
So.
bit. So the moral here is that it's always a little bit Durin's fault.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah. Yeah, if
Yes.
you're listening and you want to blame Dern for something, please feel free.
Well, that was the thing, is that commissioned was always your comic. So when I came on board as the writer, I pretty much knew that, man, I have such a small margin of error. If I fuck this up, it's clear who gets the blame. Like, doesn't matter how bad of it, either one of our ideas. If it was your idea going bad and the comic just goes down the drain, my fault. I'm the one that changed things.
You're the new influence.
Yes. Now, to be known, I wasn't the one that asked to change things, but I'm still the catalyst. When we're looking through what caused the chemical reaction, I was the thing that got dropped down.
This is interesting for me though, because Garth and Mookie, they have pretty much a dynamic that's very similar, if not actually pretty much the same. I would have to ask Garth. In the case of Star Powered, you also you're a co-writer, like you also participate in the story, or
Yeah, no, I will. I mean, so we have a very interesting working relationship. Like Mookie does all the writing, right? Like that's his responsibility. But like I still go through and I read the script and I'll be like I give him feedback and kind of like my ideas of like where I feel things kind of would be cool to go. And he doesn't have to listen to me, of course. But that feedback is usually a good thing, and he also responds in kind and provides me with feedback on a lot of on my art, and the page layouts and all that other jazz. So we do have our own primary responsibilities, but there's also a lot of overlap in the oversight, if you want to think of it that way, between the two of us.
so yeah, so it is interesting to me because it does mean that we have a very similar dynamic in both comics. So it's kind of fascinating to me to see other people working in the same way as one is working and stuff like that. So saying that, like okay, confirming that, okay, yeah, we work pretty much the same, and all that. What I want to ask is, okay, does it ever go like Dern was talking about how he was very afraid at first when he first joined the whole writing duties on commission, that people would basically start emailing him and saying like, oh, you're the worst thing that ever happened to O and stuff like that. What kind of a response did you get, and at the same time did Mookie get when you started working together in terms of people reacting to your new relationship?
So
I really said that as complicated as I possibly could, right? Just checking. Yeah,
a little bit,
checking.
yeah, no.
To be honest,
Did
I was hoping the
complicate that
question.
well enough?
What I was hoping the question was going to be was, okay, so which one of you is the little spoon? Because
well, Mookie does like to be held.
and for those wondering what the reciprocal answer is, I am the little spoon.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I just love to.
But yes, if
And
you
me.
want to answer O's incredibly complicated question, you can.
Right.
ask.
Which is actually pretty simple.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we've gotten the feedback has been very interesting because no matter how you look at it, regardless of the working relationship, Star Power is a very, very different comic than anything that either of us have worked on previously. Star Power it's a space superhero comic. You know, it's capes and, well, actually there are no capes, but you get the idea. It's still that genre of comic. It's big heroics and, you know, punching lasers and, you know, that kind of nonsense that you kind of associate with that kind of thing. And it's sci-fi, which is very different than what either of us have previously done. You know, we did fantasy comics for many years, and while fantasy and sci-fi definitely have a lot of overlap, there's room for overlap in there. There's a great deal of difference that winds up playing out, and so a lot of our fans from our previous works, came to the new comic and were like, oh, well, this isn't exactly my thing. And some of them were very, very polite about that. And they were like, you know what, it's good, I can see that, but it's not the kind of good that I like. It's not my kind of comic. And so that happened.
It's like a chocolate and caramel thing. Two types of candy. Some people like both. Some people like only one.
It is kind of interesting to see how, and the reaction we've gotten online has also been very different than the reaction we've got at conventions. You know, I mean, generally speaking, it's all been pretty positive, but I think at cons, it's still a lot of the fans that come up to our tables at conventions are very clearly Dominic Deegan fans. I mean, that's how they know us, know our work, know the new comic, is because they read Dominic Deegan since forever. And you know, so the attention is in a lot of ways very much on Mookie and his contribution, which is, you know, of course, very critical, because without a writer there is no comic.
Exactly.
It's kind of
very important.
It's kind of a crucial step there.
It is the most crucial step, I would say.
It is the starting aspect of all of comics.
I'm just laughing here at Dern trying to emphasize this when he's not the only writer on commission. So it's like, so like,
all
okay,
I got, man. That's all I got.
Like, great. So you're like the co-writer. That means I'm important on both ends. Good for me. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, thank you, Garth.
You're welcome.
Writer. They're awesome. How are we getting the only non-writer now? Well, and actually, that's the thing is, that's a good question then. From the writing perspective, do you miss that?
To a certain degree, right? Because like part of why I got into comics to begin with was to tell stories. You know, I always enjoyed that, and that was part of my big draw to comics. It's because I could tell stories with pictures, because I like drawing too. And so part of it, I do kind of miss that element of some of that control, but at the same time, not having to worry about it frees me up to like focus on the art so much more, and thus tell more stories, because I can focus on one part and divvy up that responsibility to elsewhere. So part of me misses it a little bit, but I'm totally okay not doing it anymore.
I'm going to take a really quick moment to announce we are taking questions. I keep saying that we'll take them through Twitter, and it occurs to me I don't have a Twitter window open. I'll check that in a moment, so you can tweet questions at me, at DernJG. And also you can comment on the YouTube channel. which you're probably watching right now, and we'll take questions that way as well. And we do have a question out there that is amazingly easy for me to self-promote on, so of course I have to answer it. Questioning that we do this every week, and that they'd love this to become more of a regular thing. We do it almost every week. We try to do it every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And
minus 5 GMT.
Minus 5 GMT half the year, minus 4 GMT the other half the year. Yeah, that's why I just do Eastern Standard.
No. Remember that the other half the year minus 4 GMT is only for your country.
Right, and it's only for my country. That's during the
and not even
summertime.
all of our country.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it should be noted that, well, for the whole Eastern Bloc it is, right?
Oh yeah, for the whole Eastern Bloc. But there are certain states that don't observe daylight savings time.
But also that entire run, if we're at a convention that weekend, we'll generally take that weekend off, and some major holidays we also take off as well.
No, but then again, I would hope that our listeners also take off the holidays to be with their cats and eating good food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say with their families, but I'm not really
But for you, it's with your cats.
O has priorities.
Yes, I do.
Cats and food. Not cat food.
Well, I have tried cat food. It's important that if you love your pets, you at least give the food you're going to give them a try.
You know, I kind of agree with you with that, except my dog eats poop, so I don't think she has a very refined palate to begin with.
But you also have a cat.
Yes, and she's old and cantankerous, and her food smells terrible, but she loves it.
Well, that sounds like cats, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have to be old to be cantankerous when you're a cat. I think that's just like a part of being a cat.
I don't think you have to be old to be cantankerous, period, because that's the way a lot of people would define me.
True.
You cantankerous, really?
Yeah, that's the. Oh, they use this word in English that I can't really pronounce very well. Something with curmud, something.
Curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Curmudgeon. Yes.
Yeah, that word has been thrown around.
Huh. I would have imagined that be more of a word that gets thrown around more in Dern's direction.
Oh, it also does.
So the funny thing is publicly I'm the curmudgeon, but privately I'm just like the happy, jolly family guy. So,
I know, but I like to like promote your public appearance whenever I can.
True.
And also we should point out that we do have a lot of new viewers on this episode, particularly because this is the ComfyCon, the last panel of the con.
Wow.
Yeah, we're putting this con to bed. And we should point out that for Obsidian, that English is not his first language.
Which is why I don't know how to pronounce
Yes.
things like curmudgeon.
Yes.
Yeah. I could say it in Spanish. I could say that most people say I'm amargado. And I just like to think of myself as an awesome hermit.
Well, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. An awesome hermit. I don't have the beard, nor do I plan to. But
I feel bad that I didn't have a webcam set up today because I'm actually bearded at the moment.
nobody
You
wants
mean
to
in
see.
addition to the regular mustache thing of off?
I have the mustache still, so like the mustache area is significantly bushier than the beard area. But yeah, I've got a full beard at the moment.
Are you doing that? So is this like your response to the whole like Movember thing? You're like, well, I'm already there.
If
Let's
people
screw
want to
it."
grow mustaches, if they want to enter my world, I'm just gonna get hairier. Yeah,
Is it Dern? I really hope it isn't.
it's actually you know what? Here's the thing, though. You're gonna hate the reason even more.
Okay.
You're gonna hate it even more because it's a baby thing. Just I don't want to spend time maintaining. Like my time has gotten so compartmentalized that I've just kind of given up on shaving since about a week before Monty was born.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm guessing Garth doesn't know. We don't talk about babies.
Yeah, well, I try to keep that off air.
Yeah, because O hates babies.
Oh, you didn't even point out like where you're from or that. His first language is Spanish, and he is Colombian.
Oh, right, right.
Yes.
I didn't point it out because I thought, well, Garth knows.
Yes.
And
We have new
thus
listeners.
everyone must know.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if Garth knows.
He is connected to the hive mind that is the internet.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I guess we could explain to our new viewers that I am from Colombia, and that is the real Colombia, not the fake U.S. Colombia or Colombia.
And I'm currently broadcasting from the fake U.S. Columbia of Columbia, Maryland.
The worst of Columbias.
I would strongly disagree on that part. I have been to a number of Columbias and Columbuses, whatnot, and I know we actually were talking. I think we were talking. No, we weren't. I've actually spent some time in Columbus, Ohio, and that, of all Columbia-related places, is the worst.
The pseudo-Columbias?
Yes.
But it's not Colombia. It's Columbus.
Right. Columbus is not the... I have a hard time saying that Columbus and Columbuses are the same as Columbias, regardless
Columbia.
of where they
Yes.
happen to be located.
And to clarify, mine has a U, his has two O's.
Oh yeah, but yours has a U. It's basically the same name except yours is spelled wrong.
Well, as a nation, we have completely changed the spelling of Christopher Columbus's name anyhow. So
Yeah.
we got that going for us.
We do like to just muck with the spelling of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, Brazil, you want an S in your name? No, Z's are cooler. You take that S and you take that Z and you like it.
Well, I on that note, I have to say Z's are cooler than S's.
Yeah, I think we did improve Brazil.
Well,
I mean-
I'd say, and at the risk of it being a very unpopular opinion, I'd say you improved Mexico quite a bit because you guys refuse to acknowledge that it's Mexico and not Mexico.
Yeah.
And it's weird to me because it's not like there's a little of them in your country. There's quite a few. So it's weird to me that you guys still haven't been able to get the pronunciation of Mexico right when there's so many of them.
Well, it's the good old-fashioned American obstinance.
Indians. We're not Indians. Yep, you're Indians.
You are now.
Yep. Hold on a second. I'm angry typing.
What are you angry typing at? We're on a show.
Yes. Well, there was some stuff that I thought would have been... So here's the thought process that went through my head. Somebody's asking a question that I can quickly answer by typing it to them. It would be less boring if I just typed the answer, never mind the fact that that's going to result in me not talking for, 20 seconds. So in my mind, me not talking for 20 seconds is less boring than me talking.
Well, I think that's true in everybody's mind. You not talking is always more interesting than you talking.
Yeah, you get the mute.
In this joke... In this joke, you're basically getting told to shut up.
Yeah, I love you too.
Such a clever, subtle joke.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
We actually have some questions here.
Actual questions, okay.
That college in the middle of the island is Potamokin Village? Is that in relation to Medellin? Did I miss a...
Island? What?
Potomkin Island?
Are they asking you about Pokemon?
It's a...
Are you taking Pokemon questions?
I don't think that is a Pokemon question. I'm confused on that one. Chris, I'll need you to rephrase that question. I am lost because I don't sleep anymore. There's also, is there something you guys are working on right now that's really exciting to you? Interesting question. Is there something that we are working on right now that's really exciting to us?
Well, I mean, right now we're drawing aliens, and that's
Yes.
pretty freaking cool. Just all around. But I mean, I'm very excited about the comic that I'm working on. So there's that. But I feel like that's the obvious answer.
Well, are you working on anything else?
This is
I
us
think
more or less buying time as we figure out, oh gosh, can we talk about this yet? Can we talk about this?
Well, shockingly enough, I'm actually really not working on a whole lot of anything else outside of the comic right now. It's the comic kind of like eats up most of my time,
Mhm.
because well, there's a lot of art involved, and I'm not a fast artist. As you may have noticed, like O's already got like a finished rendered piece over there and crazy shit like that. Um, and I'm still like putzing around here with my line art and trying to like in my designs and shit. So yeah,
Is this the point where I tune into the clock and let you
and
know
you go, oh god, the time.
you have 1 hour and 2 minutes left on the Sketchcast?
You should give it a more kind of ominous voice.
You have.
No, that's not ominous. I'm sorry.
That's not ominous. I'm pretty sure that was a Skexy. I'm sorry.
You have 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 3 seconds.
I gotta get my chugging honey to do that correctly.
I think it's awesome that I can take credit for that. For those listening, Dern now constantly drinks honey whenever he needs to talk and stuff like that. And this is my doing.
Yes, it is.
Well
I
done.
once read that the best thing you could do for a cough was to drink honey. I told him this once when he was sick. I think this was San Diego Comic-Con or ConnectiCon before.
It was Kineticon, and Kineticon this year was the week before San Diego Comic-Con. During Kineticon, on the final day, my vocal cords completely shredded. I couldn't talk anymore. So he starts telling me about this honey business, and I'm like, okay, I'll give this a shot. We still had panels the last day of Kineticon. I think we had 2 whole panels that we had to get through, and one of them was like an actual business panel that you were just kind of like sidekicking there to heckle me.
Yeah.
But it was clear that I had to be in that panel talking the entire time because I'm the business guy. And the honey actually was it worked. It kept me nice and smooth, and I was able to do the entire convention. And my voice was so ragged, though, that I wasn't able to, it didn't heal in time for San Diego, which started the Wednesday after the Sunday of Kineticon. So that entire San Diego, I was just propping my voice up with honey.
Funny thing is, at San Diego, we meet another artist whose name I won't say, but we meet another artist that's going through the same problem, and we give that artist the advice. Like this time, it's Stern and me together saying, "Oh, well, you need to take some honey. It is magical. Take some honey. It'll do wonders for your voice, so you can do your panels." And the artist doesn't take the advice. But yeah, anybody listening, if ever you have some, if you have to talk a lot and stuff like that, and you're going through some voice troubles and stuff, honey is just an amazing gift of nature. It's sweet.
I mean, I knew the obvious stuff like avoid citrus and all other acids, just that way your vocal cords have an actual chance to heal.
Right.
And you're not pouring acid over them. But
Makes it better.
yeah, but the honey, it was amazing. So, with the honey voice, 59 minutes and 21 seconds left.
Dun, dun, dun.
With the honey voice. Now
The
it's
honey
called
voice.
the honey voice.
Honey voice.
That just sounds perverted. There's
It
no
does.
getting around
I won't
that.
lie. Yeah, kind of does.
Yeah.
It does. It kind of makes me think that I should actually start calling you Pooh Bear.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which does kind of reinforce the whole, like, so you guys are a couple, huh?
Yeah. That it's going to be the dictators of webcomics all over again. Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to Garth.
We're just gonna leave that one out there.
Not
Back to
touch that
Garth.
one. Yes.
Okay, Garth, I do want to ask you about this because you're drawing this in Photoshop. You're doing the layers, but you started off with the blue lines.
Yeah.
Now, is this? Did you used to First off, did you used to use the pencil and paper method?
I did for the first several years of
So like second grade,
comics.
right?
No, actually, when I started getting into comics,
Okay,
doing comics, like I did all of my line art,
With the blue
by
line
hand,
pencil.
and I did all my inking by hand. God help me.
Mhm.
I eventually gave that up because it sucked, and I didn't want to It's like, damn it, I want to be good.
So, is using the blue lines for your original line work, is that just sort of making it that light blue so it looks like the blue line pencil? Is that like a comfort factor to you?
More or less. I mean, there's a certain amount of. I mean, it does help. It still helps me distinguish, my inks from my pencils, right? So
Okay.
it helps visually separate them out for me. Regardless of how you look at it. I mean, you can use any color. I could use any color if I want. And sometimes I'll go and if there's a lot of like layers and I'm doing like, because a lot of like special effects kinds of things, when I'm working them in, I'll even go and pencil them in a different light color. I'll be drawing most of the stuff in blue, and then I'll be like, oh right, and there's supposed to be this giant explosion overlaying everything here, so I'm gonna draw that. I'm gonna rough that in red instead, just to help separate things out visually. So I mean, it serves the same kind of purpose, even though there is no actual need for it to be non-photo blue or anything, because I'm not scanning it in.
Okay. We have another question from the audience that is Circer's Bane, a longtime commissioned reader, pointing out that this is ComfyCon. He would like to know whether or not we have our pants on.
Well,
Pant check for ComfyCon.
I'm going to leave that up to our viewers' imagination.
What I'm worried about is how both of you are not answering right away on this question. Like, are we unsure if we're wearing pants?
No, I'm gonna be honest and say that I am wearing pants, but it's a tactic. First of all, my home, my office, it's a first floor in a residential unit. So I work next to a big patio with with a lot of plants. It's very nice, but people outside can actually see in. I mean, it's not a very private place. So if I just sit here without any pants, I'm basically just showing my stuff. and a lot of kids play out here, and kids should not have nice things, so they shouldn't get to see me pantless yet.
That seems reasonable.
But there is another reason why I'm wearing pants, and it's because, to be honest, I kind of find it difficult to get into work mode if I'm not wearing pants. Like I don't feel like I'm working. So I'm actually wearing pants and shoes.
Gasp.
Because if I don't, I really don't feel like I'm working. Also keep in mind that my home is my office, and I do have an intern. Not today. Today's Sunday. But I'm not gonna be running around the office with the intern here, all pantless and stuff. I'm guessing that would make it very difficult to take me seriously as a boss.
That's like some kind of episode of Mad Men or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I have considered it, like just opening the door for the intern and having no pants, but not really even mentioning it, just like acting like it's
no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. This is just the way things are. But I kind of like having an intern, so
yeah.
Yeah, so it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, my pants status. I am actually wearing jeans because I went out to grab a bite to eat. So I'm wearing pants, but out of laziness. In that I just haven't had time to take them off.
That's a
whole new kind of wearing pants.
I am also wearing my fuzzy domo slippers, though, so I do have that going for me.
Nah, I can't do slippers. It's too hot. It's too hot here to wear slippers, like fuzzy slippers or anything like that. So to me, it's either barefoot or shoes. But like that kind of stuff, it's just too hot here.
We do have a question coming in. I am going to slightly modify it if the listener doesn't mind, and if he does, what you gonna do? Huh? What you gonna do?
Not read us anymore, maybe?
Please don't give up on us. Garth, one of the other similarities that I can't help but notice between Star Power and Commissioned is that we're both really bucking the trend of webcomics in that the way we're writing these comics and the way the art is done on them is they're very much set to eventually become a book. Like that definitely, the pacing, the size choices, there's an end game to these comics, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no. I mean, when we set into doing Star Power, we knew that we wanted to make a comic. We didn't want it to be limited to a life expectancy on the web. And we knew because we've been both Mookie and I have been doing comics for a number of years, and we know ultimately people want a book. They will, even if you don't think you want to do a book, people will ask you to do a book. People like books, go figure. And so we knew that was in the cards and in the deck, and we also knew from experience that it's really best to start with that in mind rather than waiting to try and resize everything and get it to fit right later down the line where you're like, oh right, I want to do a book now. So we figured it was just best to set that up to work.
I mean, it's not only that, but even the plotting of the book. Like, you guys, there's something to be said about writing something that pays off a couple pages later as opposed to something that pays off a couple panels later.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of that comes from the kind of comic that we're trying to do. We knew going into it that because it is very much at its heart it's a traditional superhero comic, and we knew that to tell stories like that, sometimes you have to give it that turn of the page, that cliffhanger, that you set things up and you set things going in motion well in advance of when they actually happen. Or so like you actually are hinting at who the secret villain who's pulling all the strings, chapters ahead, chapters ahead of where he is actually revealed, or she's revealed for that matter. And
then I guess the dirty question that I want to then get into and segue to is, how does that affect your merchandising plan?
Well, it helps and hinders kind of all at the same time, because one of the things we are experimenting with with Star Power is that we update the comic 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But we also work ahead of that update schedule rather dramatically. Like we work, when an issue starts updating on the website, we try to have the entire issue drawn and done. So we've started offering the ability for readers who don't want to wait and read the comic 3 pages a week, who want to just go through the story, the option to purchase Star Power either through print on demand or as a PDF, which you can acquire through Drive-Thru Comics. So it's interesting. So we're actually merchandising the comic very early in the classical sense of when you merchandise a webcomic. Most webcomics don't wind up seeing their first book for several years into the comic.
With commission, we have a date that is about 8 months from the first update. We think we're going to come out with our first book.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the first actual bound book of commission should be around that time.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that.
So it'd basically be, for us, it's about every 100 pages, and we're doing the 3 updates a week. and we know for a fact that the story is so much better when it's read as one massive story in one sitting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we love that the fans now that we got them to the point that they want to know, okay, what's going to happen next, and that's our tune-in factor. And
Yeah.
we knew that when we first started this, we were going to have a tune-out factor, where we were going to have a certain amount of people drop off the comic because the instant gratification was no longer there.
Right.
Like, it was more of a slow burn.
Yeah, I guess
So-
people don't like change. I mean, however you look
Yeah.
at it, though. So, you know.
But by the way, the initial question was in regards to the how it's going to get published and made available to the public. For us personally, I know we're going to first do trade paperbacks, and we're probably going to do them as just a straight up classic pre-order for the first couple of years until we finish our trilogy,
Mhm.
and then I don't know if we'll do a Kickstarter or if we'll do another special order, but we will come out. I would like to come out 3 years from now with a 3-book hardcover box set of commissioned
Oh, that's...
for that first 3-year arc, because everything is built up. Everything is done in threes in our universe. So every time we have a massive story arc, it's all about, there's 3 main characters, there's 3 main movements in the story that create this trilogy that'll be divided up into 3 books. And so I like grouping that first trilogy together.
Oh, that sounds like...
But here's the other thing that we have is that, and this is sort of an open secret with commissioned, is that originally the Adventures of Dwarf Elf and Were-Tiger was a group of friends sitting down and playing a fantasy game. And now we're just focusing on the fantasy side of it. We're not breaking the fourth wall and showing the players sitting down and playing, unless it's like a special goofy comic that we do on the side.
Like when I get sick.
When you get sick or when you have to travel, there will be some other times where you might do like a little bunny bacon showing what actually is happening around the table. But
Anybody who doesn't know, bunny bacon is when I just do like goofy drawings that are done quickly and just
a light comic, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, no, there are a number of webcomics out there. They have their main comic, and then they have the light version. Like there was Apple Geeks Light, and there's Hijinks and Sue Light.
Comic is such a weird thing, It was like it's. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. The light versions of comics always seemed kind of odd.
I've actually always thought that too, but I've always thought that it's odd when it's official, like.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a second comic and it's official and it has its own page and stuff.
Yeah. Like as a writer, I kind of liked the light comics, but I also most of them I don't feel do a very good job of being useful. Right. For us, it's like giving a little chunk of the story that's not part of the story. It's not part of. We're not going to collect the lights as part of the book. Basically, this would be a webcomic exclusive when we do a light comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
it's
comics
not
have a rich history of having like B stories,
Mm-hmm.
effectively, which is basically what the light comic is. But it just always seemed weird to have that be like. It's like. And then they stop updating the regular comic.
And just do the light comic.
Yeah. They just do light comic.
It's the beginning of the end. Sometimes.
Yeah.
No, my first webcomic that I did, that was its death cycle, where it was Dear Pirate, and I did about 120 regular comics of it, and then I just was the time that I could dedicate to it kept shrinking, so I just was doing these light one-panel comics, and I was able to it's like sometimes it's like a death cackle. It's like you get just a little bit more life out of it, but no, it's really dead.
I mean, seeing that I'm sharing here with an artist that, to be honest, like if I had to pick like an artist that I feel in the webcomic field, of course, an artist that I feel like I have a lot in common with, I definitely have to go with Garth.
Oh, thank you, O.
And because I see like a lot of the way that I was taught to work and the way I like to work and the way you work. Mm-hmm. So with that introduction, my question for you would be, okay, what are your rules when you work? As in, there's stuff as an artist that I just say, okay, I don't do that. I would never do that, and these are my rules, and these are the things that I declare that I would never do as an artist.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only guy with rules.
No. I'm pretty certain every artist has their own group of things that they're just like, yeah, no, I don't draw that. And I don't know. There's I think because I do commission work on the side in the fleeting moments of free time that I have, and so I get asked to draw a lot of things that I might not normally draw otherwise, just mostly because they don't interest me, not because they offend me sensibly or anything like that. It's just like it's not really what I'm interested in. But you're the client, you're paying for it, so
You say you're offended by nothing.
No. There are definitely things that I won't draw. So I do some erotic art kinds of stuff on the side, mostly on commission. And one of my big sticking rules on that, because it's an easy slope to fall down into doing horrible things, is all characters portrayed have to be enjoying themselves. I won't do rape art effectively.
Yeah.
And things that are degrading to the characters, I don't like doing. I don't like doing bad things to people, even if they deserve it. And I feel like art shouldn't be like that. There's way too many awesome things to draw to spend your time drawing really awful things.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I do have to ask, for both of you guys, what is the worst thing that you've ever been commissioned to draw? Or not even you did it, but you were asked to do it.
What's the rating on this show?
This is it's guest choice usually.
Yeah.
If you're going to go NC-17, let's give a moment to tag that in the chat.
Because the worst thing that I've been asked to draw, I am not comfortable actually describing. So.
Wow. Okay. This is calling me intrigued.
Should we? I don't know if I want to do this to you, Ness. Let's just do the worst thing that you were okay drawing with, because that might be a little too personal.
Okay. Worst thing that I was okay drawing. Actually, okay. So the worst thing that I ever drew that I was okay drawing with was not actually bad because of the subject matter. Guy wanted me to draw this dragon. I was like, okay, I like dragons. We can totally work with that. But this guy this was at a convention, and so convention commissions are always more interesting than online commissions, because the client is there most of the time watching over you.
Mm-hmm.
They like to watch, I find. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, and so I was like, okay, cool. And to give you an idea how this went, it started off with do you know what what was it called? It was a blue eyes white dragon. I don't know, something from Yu-Gi-Oh. I think.
Yeah, blue eyes white dragon. Yeah, that would
okay.
be.
So, do you know what that looks like? And I was like, no, I don't, because I don't watch Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know anything about the thing. I know it's a card.
You do not believe in the heart of the cards? Oh my god.
I do not, in fact. And anyway, so it's like, no, I don't know what that looks like. And his immediate response, without skipping a beat, was, well, it looks just like that, but different.
So it looks like a thing that you don't know what it looks like, but different.
But different,
Yeah.
right? And it proceeded from there, kind of in that vein.
Was this like dragon porn that he was wanting?
No. It was totally totally not dragon porn actually.
Okay, so
Like,
this is not like
It
you
was,
This
dialed
was
it
just a
back.
bad commission.
it was
This
just a bad commission. Yeah.
yeah, bad. Wow.
Would that have made it better or worse?
I don't know.
I gotta say, the pauses that we're getting tonight is my favorite thing right now.
Because I have drawn dragon porn. That's a thing. People have asked for it. I'm like, fine, whatever floats your boat. Because I try very hard to not judge, even when people make it super easy.
I would say that otherkin are people too, but I think that's hating.
Isn't that kind of their thing that they're not people? Like I thought that was okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I've gotten some really weird commissions, but like I do have a rule, and it's that I'm not going to work on anything I don't like or I don't enjoy, and I will let my personal taste get in the way of financial gain. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's why I have Dern. Dern is here to make me money. So when every now and then I'll get commissions of. I mean, first there's the boring stuff that I don't take boring stuff, so every now and then I get like, oh, I want a logo for my company, stuff like that. I am a graphic designer. I mean, that is my profession, but I don't, like, the website doesn't say that I'm a graphic designer or that I offer graphic design services.
Right.
So people tend to assume that if you're an artist, like, yeah, you're excellent. You're great for doing their company logo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even a fun thing. It's like I have a massage parlor somewhere and I want a logo for it. And like, really? Why are you writing to me for this?
That is a weird thing. Like I do get asked. I don't know, maybe not frequently, but I do get asked by what feels like a lot of people to draw things that are not my clearly displayed forte, right? People will ask.
Oh, do you get the manga requests?
I have gotten some manga
I don't
requests.
get it.
I'm like, I don't know. But the one that I get all the time is, can you do a tattoo design for me?
Oh, I get tattoo design requests a lot. I used to do it until I started getting heavily tattooed myself.
Mm-hmm.
And my tattoos are my own design,
Right.
and I've noticed that tattoo artists don't like that. Tattoo artists are also people that know how to draw, and they normally don't like it when they're not allowed to draw their own thing. They don't like it when you take like pre-rendered art and ask them to draw this.
Yeah.
So I kind of stopped doing tattoo art because out of solidarity with other artists, the tattoo artists, I know it's not a good experience for them. I know they don't like working on other people's stuff.
And I can get that. I understand that.
But every now and then I do get these requests of stuff that I just don't get where they got the idea that I was the right guy for that. Like every now and then manga. I'm like, what? Why? When?
It's totally not your style, man.
Like when
Like
in
at
these
all.
9 years that I've been, actually 10 years that I've been active online as an artist, when have you seen me do manga? Like never.
I've never seen you draw in that style.
He has on
Oh.
rare occasions, but
As
not.
a joke.
It's usually in a
Terrifying, actually.
mashup on Hello with Cheese.
Yeah, as a joke
Yeah.
I'll do it, and it looks horrible. Like I remember once.
No, yeah.
Well, once we did this Final Fantasy VIII joke on Hello with Cheese, and it looks awful. It looks just plain bad. I'm just not good at this particular style. I like it.
Mhm.
I enjoy anime. I enjoy reading it. I'm a huge fan. Actually, I'll go ahead and say it. I enjoy reading Japanese manga way more than I enjoy reading most American comics.
Okay.
I agree with that too.
But on the other hand, I don't do it. I don't do it. So, but anyway, so those are like commissions I've received that are just like, okay, no fun. But I've also gotten some weird stuff. But I normally enjoy weird things. So I'm never gonna forget one of my favorite commissions of all time is called Dragon Breakfast, and the guy
Okay.
guy writes and asks me, like, he just wants an image of a family of dragons sitting down to have breakfast.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's the description. And he just gave me permission to run with that idea, and I actually got a chance to draw like a family of dragons, kind of like they're a white picket fence kind of family, sitting down, looking bored. They're eating cereal, and the cereal is like cows in a box, and the dragon dad is drinking coffee, and he's spreading people on his toast, and
Nice.
it was just fun to do. So normally when I get weird stuff, I enjoy it a lot. Fortunately, not because I have anything against it. Like I watch porn. I like porn. I never get asked. I've never gotten asked to do anything with porn, and I guess it's because I'm not what.
You may be the first artist to to not get that request.
But I think I know why it is, though. Dern can feel free to tell me, no, that's not the reason. The reason is this, if he's ever thought about it. But
Have I ever thought about porn?
no, I'm thinking about porn right now. But no. No, I mean, if you ever thought about why we don't get any requests for me to work like in porn stuff,
Yeah.
I think it's because I've never really you never really see really hot babes in my comics. It never really happens.
It's debatable.
I mean, there was once one.
I can think of two characters. One that you think of as being dead.
Yeah. Let's not mention her.
That might ruin it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, you don't regularly see like hot babes on commission, so I don't think people when they start thinking about like, oh, I need something really hot and sexy. Who do I go to?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the artist that comes to mind.
I can see that.
I mean, where I could really see people like thinking like, okay, I need a hot, a hot comic babe. Who do I go to? And I could really see your name popping up very easily because you draw some hot babes.
Well, thank you. I'm okay with that.
Oh no, it's a compliment. It's totally a compliment. I mean, I'm not criticizing. I love that. That's I don't know if it was similar for you, but growing up, reading comics, one of the things that always like blew me away from comics was how do they make the women look so amazing, so hot, and all that, and that always like that was to me when I was young. That was kind of the measure of an awesome artist.
That's whether or not they could draw hot chicks.
Yeah, that oh wow, they're so awesome. They can draw hot babes. I mean, my mentality, of course, has changed quite a bit.
Right.
But
Like you look back as what you thought was hot, and then you just think, damn, I had a lot of testosterone going through me.
I was just about to get to that because I remember. I mean, and here's the sad part. I remember once picking up a comic, looking through it, and going, "Wow, the women are so sexy and so hot, and like everybody is like looks so amazing, and look at the movement and the way he handles like anatomy and everything, and he is so cool and everything." And here's the thing, that was Youngblood. So we're talking about Liefeld here.
Wow.
But yeah, that's why.
Women are hot when they don't have a spine.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's why when people keep on asking, like, I don't get it. How does Liefeld still like work as a successful artist and all that kind of stuff? And I just say,
keep buying his shit.
no, I just say, to the untrained eye, Liefeld is really not that bad.
No.
To the untrained eye, it's really.
It was actually okay. So I have a kind of a funny story regarding Rob Liefeld.
Awesome.
I have a bunch of friends who have at one point in time or another gone to SCAD, which is the for those of you who don't know what SCAD is, it's the Savannah College of Art and Design. It's one of the big colleges in the U.S. that you can actually get a degree in drawing comics. Like they actually have a comic degree, which is not something you see at a lot of colleges. And at one point in time, in one of the design labs, the subject of Rob Liefeld came up, and and of course everyone in class is bitching about how awful an artist he is and yada 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 and all these other things. And the professor pipes up and says, Rob Liefeld is a better artist than any of you guys are. You know why? Because he gets work. People pay him to draw comics. Does anyone pay you to draw comics? No, they don't.
And he makes a great point. I mean, he really does. Like,
It's
and
hard to argue with that.
No, I grew up on Liefeld. If I had to say, like, okay, make a list of people that inspired you to become a comic artist, I'm gonna have to put Liefeld there on that list somewhere. Like, I do have the consolation maybe that Jim Lee would be higher on the list than
It's still
Liefeld.
not that good. I mean, like, now you're just replacing a spine with a high collar.
Oh yeah. I mean, I also used to think like Jim Lee was God, and now I don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, he still comes out with some amazing art every now and then, and he has his moments and all that. But thing is, yeah, Rob Liefeld would have to be on that list. He would appear on it, and I'm not embarrassed. You know, I grew up reading Youngblood and Rob Liefeld also. I remember comics were very difficult for me to acquire. They still are. They're very difficult to find here in Colombia. And thing is, I would just get anything from Image Comics because that's what I grew up on. That's what I loved. Thing is, right now, Image Comics in the 90s, to me, represents everything I don't like about comics.
Okay.
But
would you say that was your best, worst inspiration?
no, you see, that's the thing. Image Comics in the 90s, to me, represents everything I don't like about comics, but I absolutely love what they did and what they accomplished, and I think it's amazing. And we did get some awesome comics from them. I mean, we did get the Max, and the Max was an amazing thing. I still love Wildcats. I still read Wildcats. I have it, and I still read it. And it's awful in its own.
But it's awful but awesome all at the same time.
Yeah, but then again, isn't that like the 90s in a
That is
nutshell?
kind of the 90s, like, yeah.
Yeah, like awful but awesome. And that's the thing about Liefeld. Liefeld was awful, but it was awesome. It was just this. I mean, we laugh about the pouches now,
Right.
but let's face it, the pouches were awesome back then. Like,
To
They
be
were.
fair,
They
I
were.
generally wear clothing with pouches on it.
We call
yeah,
them pockets most of the time.
Oh,
No, no,
cargo
like,
shorts, man. Those
yeah.
are pouches.
I love pants with lots of pockets on the side, and I guess I'm gonna have to blame Liefeld for that, because yeah, I would see that and I just go like, shit, these people are like keeping everything in those pockets. It's awesome. and you never really got to see what it was. They were keeping,
No.
you know?
It's like they
Half
gave
the time-
everybody
half the time
Batman's
the
utility
pouches were
belt.
so damn tiny that you couldn't keep anything but like a set of keys in it or something like that. Like, how many cards does this dude have?
Yeah, but it was just really awesome, and still one of my favorite comics from the 90s. And I still look at it and think it's awesome. I can't even remember the name of the artist. But one of the comics from the 90s I really love is has one of the most ridiculous names, and again, we have Liefeld to thank for it. He didn't create the character, but he did create Youngblood, which eventually gave birth to Super Patriot. And yeah, there was a character called Super Patriot. It was as ridiculous as it sounded.
Yeah, right.
But this character turned into something amazing, and it was just this really interesting character, really tragic character that just happened to be called Super Patriot.
That was an Eric Larson character, and technically born from his Savage Dragon book.
Yeah, but then they fit him into.
Oh yeah, that was the whole shared universe thing that Image had.
Yeah, which was awesome, and Liefeld is responsible for a lot of that. So I mean, I have a lot of thanks to give to Liefeld, and eventually, now as a grown-up, he's the one that taught me that, you know, he doesn't have to be the most amazing artist in the world for you to learn something from him. And from what I've read of what he said and how he responds to people's criticism of him, man, that guy's got great attitude. And I have never heard anybody say Well, actually, I'm gonna retract is the word I want.
Yeah, that's
That because then again, I might have heard somebody say, I just don't remember, but you don't normally hear people saying that Rob Liefeld is an asshole. You normally hear people saying that he's a very nice guy, that he's very pleasant and awesome to talk with, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Also, like you just mentioned him. Look at Eric Larson, also a product
that same exact class.
Yeah.
It was Lee, it was Larson, Liefeld, the guy with the balls, Spawn.
McFarlane, also an awful artist.
Yes, who has blown most of his fortune buying balls.
I thought
True
that
story.
was just the one pair. Or the one ball, like the one several $1 million ball, and that's it. He's bought more.
He's bought more. He bought the Mark McGuire one. He bought a couple others of that year. I think he has a Sosa, and then when Barry Bonds broke the record, he bought Barry Bonds as well, and then joked that it was just protecting his investment.
Okay.
Well,
Wow.
he wants to be the guy that owns the record-setting ball.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, whatever works for you,
Yep.
I guess.
Well,
if you can afford it, go
Todd
ahead.
McFarlane and the word works, I don't know if they really go in the same sentence.
Oh, but you gotta admire him as a businessman.
He certainly knows how to. He certainly managed to monetize, his product probably better than anyone else from the Image Group. I mean,
He did a good job of spinning it off and resulting in him starting a toy company. Jim
Yes.
Lee did a good job of spinning it off and owning a portion of DC as a result.
yeah.
Which
So
most
between
people
the
are
two
not
of
very
them,
happy with the job he's doing there.
what's that?
A lot of people are not very happy with the job he's doing there.
Yeah, but none of the DC executives aren't happy. So he's got a mansion. I mean, it's a matter of success. I mean, it's
No,
the
I just
professor
love your
talking about
measurement.
Liefeld again.
I just love your measurement of success.
Yeah, but he's got a mansion.
Yeah.
He got money. He got paid.
Who do you admire? Oh, I admire this guy. Does he have a mansion? I don't
No.
know. He
Screw
sucks.
him.
Don't
He
care. I am unimpressed.
Unimpressed with you starving artists.
Oh no, and I have to admit, like if I were offered a job to be like a big shot at DC, like screw the rest of the world. Like that's an awesome opportunity. I'd go and I would eliminate Aquaman, and then I would just enjoy seeing Dern cry.
Fuck you.
Although if I were a good friend, I'd just give Aquaman to.
So anyhow, the question that we should then turn over to Garth is, Garth, what is your best worst inspiration?
Ooh,
If you like, I'd give you a moment to think about it. I have one on the tip of my brain. I'm almost like this is under the I'm ashamed to admit it, but
I don't
it
know,
would
man.
be.
You guys are gonna have to beat Liefeld.
It's a tie between. It probably is Tom Clancy.
Oh.
If I actually look at his writing.
Right,
See,
you're
I
a
can't really
writer.
look at artists.
Right, you're a writer.
Yeah, so I read a lot of stuff, and Clancy's novels are just pure junk food, technobabble, and I read a lot of them when I was young and didn't quite realize the
He
crazy.
died recently, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
Yes,
yeah,
he
he
did.
died recently.
I gotta admit, I was not as depressed when he died when Michael Crichton died. Like when Michael Crichton died, that messed me up. I actually had to take a couple days off and just feel sad because I mean Crichton.
I like
He's-
his writing.
I love his writing. To him, like he's one of the guys that I wanted to be when I grew up. And so I was reading a lot of mass market novels, and so I did fall into the whole Clancy thing. And it's weird having there be another Jack Ryan movie coming out soon.
yeah.
Yeah, because now I'm just
Although
trying to,
honestly, of all the people that they've ever gotten to play Jack Ryan, I can see what's his name. He's Captain Kirk to me now.
yeah. Kirk, Christopher Pine.
Yeah, no, I
See,
can
Christopher
totally see
Pine.
him pulling that off.
Kinda. I mean, it's this weird Jack Ryan superhero, which he never really was in the books. In the books, the best one was probably Alec Baldwin. But it's just so weird because when you watch that movie, you're like, Sean Connery is pretending to be a Russian. In doing so, he's doing nothing. He is just Sean Connery in Russian garb, pretending that counts as a Russian accent.
Yeah.
Like,
But
it's
then
just
again, I mean, Sean Connery had kind of built a career on pretending to be characters of lineages that he clearly was not, and making no efforts to disguise that fact.
yes, because James Bond is technically not Scottish, so
Right.
he rolls with that one. Like, what
And
else has he absolutely
oh, okay,
butchered?
so he played a Spaniard in the Highlander movie.
I
The
was
Spaniard?
just about to go with that. That one was so
Yep.
weird to me.
Wait, no, he wasn't a Spaniard. He was actually Egyptian who just spent a lot of time in Spain.
Yes. But his last name was Ramirez.
Right?
Yeah, that character was just so weird to me, and I just like. Okay, here's the thing. Here's confession time. Highlander, the first one, was a movie I watched very late in my life. My first experience with Highlander was The Quickening,
Mm-hmm.
Highlander
Mhm.
2, which back then when I watched it, I didn't hate it. Like you know that age when you don't really
You
have
don't really
that,
hate anything because you don't.
yeah, it's just awesome. So I watched Highlander 2 and I liked it. It was cool for me. And I didn't watch Highlander 1 until honestly about a few years ago, and it was just so weird when he starts like this character, and I just decided, you know what? I'm just not going to pay any attention to that detail. And I managed to enjoy the movie. But that detail, because he's also in Highlander 2,
Mhm.
but
Oh, and
but,
he,
I
he
mean-
has the greatest scene on that airplane with the safety video. Best scene in Hollywood.
it was just like in Highlander 2, I wasn't at an age where I had that kind of critical thinking of going like, wait a minute. No, you just accept it. It's a guy, his name is Ramirez, and that's it, and
Right.
suddenly there's a fan falling on him, and he uses his sword to, I don't even remember what he does there. It's like
Craziness.
he ends up dying, so I don't know what he accomplished, but whatever, okay.
He
But
did
yeah,
something.
I just, as an adult, I had to make this conscious effort of saying to myself, okay, you know what, this just doesn't count for me.
I'm gonna give that one a pass.
But we're still waiting for your answer.
Okay, so all right, so I don't actually I'm really bad at anything that's and any question that's like what's your favorites or what's the best or what's, because I'm bad at ranking things.
Mhm.
But so the guy, to keep with our theme of guys from the 90s, the guy that got me kind of into like reading comics was Michael Silvestri.
Mm-hmm.
He was also one of the big Image guys.
Yeah.
Like Cyberforce was, I mean, it was no Wildcats, but it was still freaking amazing. And I mean, it's basically X-Men but with cybernetics too. And I was like, that's awesome, because I was like 15 and everything's awesome at that age.
Well, that's the thing. That was the thing about Image Comics. Image Comics was just this awesome thing that made you say awesome a lot.
Very
It
much
was like
so.
the Michael Bay of comics in the 90s. It was just awesome. And wasn't Silvestri the guy? Wait, no, Michael Turner's the one that died.
I
Right?
want to clarify. I think we accidentally mashed up Michael Turner and Mark Silvestri.
Mark
You're right. Sorry.
Silvestri
Yes,
is
it's Mark Silvestri. My bad.
Which, to be quite honest, like, there's maybe like a hair's pencil breadth difference between the two's art style. Like, I would get them mixed up. Like, you could do an art test.
Isn't one of them like kind of the pupil of the other?
Yes.
I
Yes.
know that the one that died, very sad by the way, but I know that the one that died was kind of the mentor of the other one. So.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
I believe Michael Turner is the one that died, right?
Yes.
gosh, let me check this
Silvestri is
fast.
definitely still alive. That
Okay.
much I know for sure.
Yeah,
It's funny that you mentioned that like they all kind of like, their art styles are kind of the same. But
Mhm.
everyone in the 90s drew like that. Like that was just a thing. Like,
Yeah, but they evolved in different ways. Like Jim Lee added 5 pounds of cross hatching and a stiff collar, Turner, slowly removed internal organs from women and made them skinnier and skinnier. And then Silvestri sort of followed that, and they both were very good with their lighting effects in terms of like lightning and water, fairy wings. They would do that stuff. You could see Eric Larson, his art just kept getting thicker and thicker lines. And of course, you got Liefeld with the slowly disappearing feet, and it was because that was always the thing that got me about that whole slate of artists. It's not when they were superstars, but what did they do after that to push themselves?
Yeah.
And like I think Todd McFarlane would probably admit that of the group, he's now probably the worst artist of the group because he doesn't keep that up.
Well, you see, in McFarlane's defense, and keep in mind, I am not a fan of McFarlane. I never, I got into Spawn because I thought it was cool. Like Spawn was cool. I mean, he was from hell. What's cooler than hell? Hell was very cool in the 90s. But thing is, McFarlane, he himself admitted that he wasn't a very good artist. And he was the first one to say, like, I mean, he would be right there, eager to say that he was much more an inker than a penciler. He wasn't that good an inker either. But yeah, he was there, like right front and center, to say that he wasn't much of an artist. And he didn't really even last long on Spawn. Like, he was replaced very, very quickly, and the guy that replaced him was so much better, Greg Capullo. Or however you guys pronounce it. But yeah, he
Capullo.
Yeah, but he replaced him, and he was brilliant on Spawn. And most people, when they remember Spawn, they were reading Greg Capullo. They were not reading actually McFarlane, because when you look at the first issues of Spawn, holy crap, that's hideous.
10 minutes and 49 seconds left on the sketching.
Yeah.
All right.
So Garth, the question I was asking earlier about rules, what about technical rules? Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I will die before I copy paste something in my comic.
Okay. So, technical rules.
Garth, what do you think of this answer? I'm going to warn cover me for like 2 minutes.
Okay.
So
he's gonna poop.
Well, I hear everybody does it.
Oh, but he poops more than regular people.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Good to know. Anyway, so I mean, I will copy paste, but only if like there is no change in the scene. Like if the entire point of that panel is to have like a pause in the dialogue, you just need the to get that extra second for people to stop and understand that there's a moment of time passing here and really like hammer that home. That's the only time that I'll copy and paste something. I don't like doing it, but like I will do it every now and again. I generally find that it seldom works out well, so it's one of those in very, very, very rare circumstances I let that happen. Technical things that I won't do.
No, technical rules.
Technical rules. Well, so okay. So one of the things that I do is that I work at kind of an absurdly high resolution.
Really?
Yeah, I work at 600 DPI.
Wow.
Which is really...
Yeah, that's totally unnecessary. Why?
I don't know, actually.
Okay.
I just do for some reason. I think
that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think okay. No, actually, I do kind of know why I do it.
Okay.
I do it, and I should probably do it a lot less than I actually do. But like when I'm working on prints or something to that effect, by working at a really, really high resolution like that, I can go back and scale the piece up without losing any like finish to it. So I can take an 8x10 600 dpi file and blow it up to 16 by 20 at 300 dpi, and it still looks bloody awesome. And I've been doing that for so long that I've kind of like it's become a habit.
Wow, that is very funny to me. I gotta admit, because as a teacher, that's one of the first things I tell my students to not do. And it's awesome. Yeah, well, not really high res, just unnecessary resolution. I always tell them to not do it, but it's awesome because I always tell them the same thing, and it's every single rule I tell you guys, you're gonna find an artist that breaks it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've never met. Every artist has their own ways of doing things, and it's a little bizarre that way. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those weird things that's just how I've
yeah, you feel comfortable working.
Yeah. And I totally recognize that it's very, very unnecessary, especially for things like comics. But I mean, part of what I like about the way I work is having really, really crisp, clean line art, and I can get that by working at a ridiculously high resolution.
You are a very neat artist.
Yeah, and that's just personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, and it's a style. It's kind of funny because Bobby Chu, an artist, he says that every single artist is a reflection of their work. And having met you personally, you are in person actually very neat. I mean, you're always well dressed and very organized and stuff. So, and you look at your art, your line art, and it's very clean. It's very neat. It's very methodical and very thought out. And that is, I mean, that's kind of what you look like. So. I think that's fascinating. I mean, it stays true. Like, every artist looks like their art.
I can see that, yeah. But,
I mean, I've never seen you poorly dressed. I'm sadly enough, one look at my art and it's not the same for me. Dressing is not my forte.
Perhaps
You do dress eclectically, I will give you that.
Yeah, so.
No, I mean, I do think that's interesting observation just about artists in general and in their work, like, because I mean, that's something in design that was always very because we liked a thing was always a poor reason for doing anything in my design classes. Is like, why did you do this? It's like, because it looked good. That was the worst answer you could ever give a professor. They would make you redo it because they're like, no, that's not why you do things. And looking back, I understand why they did that, even though, because it looks good is a perfectly valid reason for nearly every design ever. I mean, why do Macs look the way they do? Because, Jobs thought it looked good.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, there's always a matter of personal preference in every single decision that you take.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of fun to actually have reasons for what.
Yeah. I mean, and it's good awareness to understand why you make those kinds of design decisions.
Yeah.
3 minutes and 42 seconds left.
All right.
By the way, you don't have to cover for me anymore. I'm back. I'm back in the saddle.
I can tell. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that you're back.
Yeah, I probably should clarify that I definitely had to make it run to the little Dern's room. I normally have a couple bottles of water that I use during these podcasts, and normally that's perfect. Like, I can go that full 2 hours of work that we put in on this, and doesn't affect me. I mean, that right at the end of those 2 hours, I have to make a run, yes. But what I forgot is we did 2 shows today. So I was doing the same routine for both shows, and then halfway through this one, I'm like, oh gosh, this is bad.
Yeah, Dern has a small bladder. He's a fairly tall and large human being with a very small bladder.
Yeah, you know, it happens.
Very weird.
The size of a pea. Get it?
It's a urinary.
The worst part is I didn't intend on that one.
Yeah, that's how all the best puns are like that.
Oh yeah. I got to admit, okay, as I'm watching you guys make this, and we've been talking a lot about Liefeld today, really quickly, I would like to point out the feet of your alien are hiding behind a rock.
Yeah.
Garth, show us the feet of your alien.
He has no feet.
Oh wait, he has no feet. Was that intentional on either of your parts?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if you were how much attention you were paying, or, you know, at the very beginning of all this madness. I went through several feet designs, and I didn't like any of them. So I was like, nuts to it. I don't have time to waste on this bullshit. So we're gonna move on.
Mm-hmm.
In my case,
35 seconds.
In my case, it was a matter of angle. It's just I wanted to do it atop from the bottom. Kind of makes him look more badass when you're looking at him from below. So I went with that, and you don't see his feet from this angle. So
you see, I'd like to think that it's some sort of Beetlejuice type thing. That if you say Liefeld 3 times while you're drawing, it just magically removes the feet.
So when did the pouches get added?
That's when you have to actually you have to think about Rob Liefeld's jeans commercial.
Okay.
Yes. And you have to slam a Mountain Dew.
God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's a lot of condition. That means you really wanted to see Liefeld.
Well, the question is like, you really have to be in the Liefeld to start pouching. Yeah.
I don't know. I do hope I meet him someday, and I get to thank him for the huge impact he had. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure at conventions he does pretty well. I'm not sure if he gets any of the hate he gets on the internet at conventions.
He gets far less hate in real life than he does.
When it does, it's incredibly pathetic.
Yeah, but I really would like to tell him, like, you know what, you had a huge impact on who I am, and even on the kind of artist that I am. He did,
3 seconds. 2, 1. And now I gotta find this clock so I can get rid of that annoying beep real quick. Okay.
Now let's show our results.
Now let's show Garth still working on his. How dare you?
Forever working. Forever.
How
working.
dare you ruin the sanctity of Scallywags Sketchcast? Given what topics we have covered in the entirety of this Sketchcast, there's no sanctity whatsoever.
Oh no. We don't work with sanctity.
Yes. Take us through your alien.
Okay, I thought you were going to go first with the guest, but yeah, sure, we'll be rude.
Okay, Garth. O is afraid to talk about his art. You may talk about yours.
Well, let's see if we can get. All right. Anyway, so I don't know how well I'm going to be able to get that on the main screen because of the way this is all working out.
There we go. I can see it.
Okay, you got that?
Yeah,
you got it.
Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, so I don't know. This is an alien. I don't know why, but I like drawing aliens with multiple arms. I don't know why that is. Multiple sets of arms rather than like the standard bipedal thing. But,
The audience was noticing as you were developing it. It had a very StarCraft vibe to what you had.
Oh, I guess it does, doesn't it? Huh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, all right.
It does.
Okay. So not intentional.
Well, I mean that's the funny thing, right? So like I never played StarCraft. Well, no, I take it back. I have played StarCraft, but like I never got into StarCraft. Like it was never like a big thing that I played.
I'm gonna have to go with you on that one, Garth. I played StarCraft until it challenged me, and then I said, you know what, RTS really not my thing.
See, the funny thing is, when I look at yours, and I actually get a different vibe, and again, I know for a fact that you've never played this game. That looks very much like a Tau from the Warhammer 40k universe. I mean, the face is much different, but the way he's walking, the legs, and the gun both have a very strong Tau influence to them for me.
Well, I can tell you actually where my influence, like there was a certain, I don't know if this happens to Garth, but there was a certain part of the whole process where I stopped, looked at it, and thought to myself, this feels like it's pulled out of Mass Effect. And I thought to myself, I'm totally cool with that.
Oh, that's where I'm guessing the wide collar started. Was the wide collar before or after you decided that?
No. It was more or less when I already had like the whole shape and everything, and I looked at it, and I thought, this looks like it's kind of from Mass Effect, and I'm okay with that because I love the design in Mass Effect. Mm-hmm. I still haven't been able to play the third one, but I love Mass Effect, so yeah, sure, cool. I'm good with that.
I'm always impressed with how frequently someone will mention that something that I've drawn looks like something else, and it'll have never occurred to me, but once they say it, I'm like, yeah, I clearly was pulling influence from that, somehow, some ways.
Yeah. It's always amusing to me when you're pulling from an influence that it clearly wasn't because you've never seen it before.
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, and especially with manga. And anime, and everybody every now and then they're like, oh, I can see that you saw this anime too. No, I did not. I definitely did not. Mm-hmm. I mean, thanks for thinking of it, but nope. It's weird. I think it's funny. I'm always reminded when I was a teenager of the Batman situation, which was basically if you drew anything with a cape, a black cape, people would tell you that, oh, it has a cape, like Batman. A lot of things have capes.
Like Batman.
Yeah. And technically Batman doesn't have a cape, he has bat wings. Very first appearance, he flips those out, and then it's not a flat line at the bottom. He has it scalloped.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Now I'm a Batman hipster. That is from a previous panel.
You definitely know more about Batman than
I called back to a previous ComfyCon panel. Okay, I think we do want to wrap up the actual ComfyCon portion of this. Basically, Garth, I wanted to check with you. Were you doing any sales, or what would you like to promote as part of your ComfyCon appearance?
I do there. Sorry. I think all I really have to promote really right now is the new comic that I'm working on, Star Power, which you can find at starpowercomic.com. That's the sci-fi superhero comic that I currently draw.
How can I not post links? I am the person running this chat. Sorry. YouTube won't let me post a link to starpower.com.
I told you, YouTube changed. You can't... There is a way to post links, but there's some sort of condition. I don't really know.
I'll have it. It will be in the about comments.
In the notes, yeah.
Yes, the notes. Can I edit those as we're going? No, I cannot. Okay.
No, why will you ever be able to do that?
Well, I'll be able to. That'll be up shortly. I could easily fix that later. If you don't mind, I'll do the quick promotion for us.
Go ahead.
Okay. As part of ComfyCon, we are actually doing a sale on our zombie poker deck. In fact, I've been using the Joker card. Let me turn off my name so that you can see it entirely. But the decks of Postermo that we have, normally they sell for $10 for the green and red backs, and we'll be selling those for $5 for the next, probably the next couple weeks, until I remember to turn the sale off. And then
Wow.
we're also selling uncut sheets of the red decks for $27. They're normally $40. That's our shilling. Yes,
Yeah, that
we've been shilled.
people aren't gonna react.
Yes. Well, I'll
Yeah,
put a
you
link
kind
on
of
the YouTube
expect a
channel for that as
response.
well. Okay.
Yeah, maybe
And
I should. I don't know. I feel like I should say something, so I'm just gonna say like, "What a savings!" Yeah,
wow.
that's it.
I do want to point out that the best thing that I've read all day today, and I got to be honest, that was 90 minutes of me waiting for figure out a way to segue this in, and constantly failing. Um, I just recently found out that Rupert, crap, what is his name? Anyhow,
Everett.
huh? No, not Rupert Everett. Um,
Everett.
Ron Weasley, the redhead who played
isn't
Rupert,
that
or
isn't
that
that
played Ron Weasley.
isn't that
Apparently, the past couple years, he has bought a ice cream truck, is driving it around, and just giving out ice cream to kids. And when they ask at him and they look at him and say, "Wait, aren't you Ron Weasley?" He just shakes it off, like, "Yeah, I get that a lot," and then just drives off.
Okay, that's kind of awesome.
It's
I read
awesome,
that.
but there's also a little part of it that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It is still like a dude in his early 20s driving around in an ice cream van giving ice cream out to local kids. That's a bit wrong. I think there were some bad decisions on that part, yes. But overall, awesome.
Do you think? Do you think it's one of those situations where this guy just never has to work another day in his life?
No, absolutely.
I'm pretty certain that if you were involved in Harry Potter somehow, you're probably
Well, if you were one of the big three,
yeah.
Pretty.
But
Yeah.
even the ones that weren't one of the big three, I think their careers have, if not been like made, certainly given a very dramatic boost.
Garth, we lost one of your cameras, so all of a sudden it just popped onto you. Apologies about that.
Apparently there was an error. So
Yes. With that, I think we're going to cut the broadcast because I think we've had fun. We have drawn aliens, and we're going to say goodnight to our lovely viewers. Oh wait, we do have Star Power back. Should we give them a 5-minute, a quick couple of minutes here to ask if there are any last-second questions? I think we got them.
It's a tradition. Yeah.
Ah, I could have just added myself as a moderator and put that link in, apparently.
It is our tradition to take a little bit of questions before we go.
Yeah.
So why
So
not?
yeah, let's take a couple questions if you guys like. I will say this, and then I will remind myself that there's actually a delay, so I'll wait for any questions. We'll give this a couple minutes. I also want to point out, we got our first thumbs down.
Really? On YouTube?
Yeah.
Today? Or like on this video? Or
This particular show has gotten 0 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down.
wow. Is there a negative comment to go with it? Or
No, not that I've noticed. I mean, I've been reading the comments as they come in, because that's where we get our questions. But we earned a thumbs down. I'm honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of happy too.
well, there is a part of me that knows that there is a very high chance that the thumbs down has absolutely nothing to do with what we're doing, but maybe they had a technical issue. I mean, because a lot of people give bad reviews to stuff when like maybe they had a technical issue that doesn't really have anything to do with the show itself or stuff like that. And considering that YouTube is not exactly in people's good graces these days, people are very pissed off with YouTube right now.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of surprised that I looked at our videos and I haven't seen any of Bob's tanks or anything like that. But that would not be surprising to me. Still, if we get a thumbs down, I want to know why.
Yeah.
Whatever it was probably your fault. But
It almost certainly was my fault. Yeah.
Well, it could also be that because of the wacky setup that I kind of introduced to you, the system this time around, whenever I speak, it may not be cutting. It may not have actually cut it to the artwork that I've been drawing. So
Right. Well, it's not like your artwork had a moving mouth, so we were okay with that.
no, I mean it may not have. So like it's entirely possible that they've been watching.
Oh, but
Yeah.
no. You see, normally Dern controls which screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I toggle through which screen. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
since
no,
we're
yeah, you
recording
were
it,
okay in that part.
yeah, Dern is in control of which screen gets shown.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. He
Okay.
normally just shows himself.
Somebody did ask if they heard Frankie tonight. There's a chance you heard Frankie or Monty. Weirdly enough, people listening along were probably more likely to hear
The
stuff
cat.
that's going on in my own house than I am. Well, yeah, you hear the cat. Shadow is going to mouth off during these podcasts as it is, but because I have the heavy density headphones on,
Mm-hmm.
and the microphone is pointed at my face, but then also over my shoulders, like a little bit of sound leaks in from upstairs, and I can't hear it.
Ah.
But the microphone can.
I was kind of hoping for a more interesting question than that, though.
Oh gosh! By the way, people watching, I wasn't pandering for thumbs up. I swear I wasn't. Yeah. But
Did it immediately happen?
but thank you. Okay. We just went from 0 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down to 7 thumbs up. Like,
Aw.
oh, you guys like us.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
And then there was a question as to what setup we were using. O and I both are using the Samson Meteorite microphones, and we're recording this through Google Hangouts.
Actually,
And-
I'm not using that.
What?
No, I'm using the PlayStation 3 headset. Remember, the Samsung picks up because of where I am. I have to have like a fan on at all times, otherwise I'll just melt.
Oh, that's
and
right.
The
and you
Samsung
can't-
gets
yeah.
just too much noise from the fan.
Okay.
It's an
a
awesome
very-
mic.
It's a very sensitive mic.
Yeah, it's very
yes.
sensitive. Yeah.
And then
Garth has a very interesting setup, though.
and then
Yeah.
Garth, we sort of jury-rigged a system for him to actually be able to talk to us.
Yeah, so,
Run us through your setup, Garth.
so sadly, because I don't have a microphone currently installed to my main working PC, we jury-rigged this so that I'm now communicating to you guys via my iPad, which happens to be sitting here next to me, which makes for some interesting, if slightly awkward, arrangement.
Would you mind if I suddenly throw your face up on the broadcast?
Go for it, whatever. Hey guys!
Hey, here's Garth. I like how you guys are both still tinkering with your image.
I was happy with it, so
Yes.
I kind of want to finish it before. I mean, give it some finishing touches before I post it.
Don't like to leave things unfinished, even when they are just simple sketches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of fun and everything. I mean, I don't want to tinker with it too much because I still want to. It's still fun to tell people that this just took like an hour and a half.
Yeah, no big.
So if I end up working on it 3 hours or anything like that, it kind of ruins that whole charm. And besides, I've been working on comics all day. Really kind of...
It has been a delightfully fun day. I rather a delightfully fun weekend actually with all of ComfyCon. I love the idea of it, just like us mouthing off and not actually putting the effort. Now, to be fair, I love traveling and going to conventions. I love eating large meals with other webcomic people. So I miss that part about conventions.
Yeah.
So
You're talking like you're never going to conventions again.
Ever.
it's been like a month and a half, man. I am clawing at the walls here. Oh my gosh. And I've got another 6 weeks before my next show.
Whatever will you do with yourself?
It's nerve-wracking. I'm probably going to pick up and move states at this point. Anyway.
Oh man, I seriously don't know how you guys do it. I do 4 a year, and that's more than enough for me.
This was your first year of doing 4 in a year.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was more than enough.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all awesome, and I had a great time at all of them, and all that. But wow, it's like, yeah, I just think about you guys and all the conventions you guys do. Like, when do you work?
Yeah,
To be fair,
When do you draw stuff?
to
Mookie
be
and I are
fair,
actually
you
going
going
to
to a
be like,
convention involves going through customs, entering another country, a few hours, more than a few hours of flying. Like you lose 2 whole days in travel,
yeah, that's intense.
coming and going.
Yeah, that is true though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe that's it for questions. We're going to sign off. Once again, I'm Darren J. Gendron, and my fellow Scallywag is Obsidian Abnormal. This week's guest was Garth Graham. We'll have links for our comics. Garth's comic is at starpowercomic.com, and O's comic is at commissionedcomic.com and hellowithcheese.com. And we have a last-second question coming in. Sir, we're going to wait a whole minute here, so you better be typing the moment you hear that we're going to take this question. And we're going to build up a lot of drama for this question. This is going to be...
It better be
This
good.
It's going to be the best question ever. And I'm not going to sign off afterwards. I mean, if it's a bad question, I'm going to hang up. And this whole thing is done.
So we don't even get to say if we think it's good.
I won't even read the question to you guys. I will judge it harshly.
Thing is, if you just suddenly say, "Oh, this question sucks," bye, I'm gonna be intrigued.
Like, what's the question? Oh my gosh. But, technically, I would like to point out, asking, "Can I ask another question?" I could have just said yes and ended the podcast right there.
Feel free. I
will turn this podcast right around. Oh my gosh, how much of a delay are we on? Oh man, I cannot buy that much more time. Oh,
We are in quite a bit of a delay though.
I am really oh my gosh.
But you already said you were gonna do it, so now you got to do it.
Yeah. What's the question? What's the question? Tell me.
We're dying to know.
Okay, this is where I switched over to Garth. He's got to be typing the question in right now, or she. I actually don't know if he or she, but not really important. Don't know why I just toggled away from that page. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. All right, that's where he accidentally erased the question. Oh my gosh. No, we're committed. We want this question.
Yeah. I mean,
At this point, we kind of have.
At this point, the person asking it is probably feeling very self-conscious. Like, oh man, and it's this stupid question, and oh.
No, if it's a stupid question, it will fit in perfectly with this group of people. Trust me. We bring a level of professionalism to stupid that you would not believe.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, we are the experts in stupid.
So everybody's like
still waiting
holding
on
their
the delay,
breath.
man. I'm buying time when I can, but yeah.
Yeah, everybody's kind of holding their breath for this question. Like,
It's getting so much tense.
the world is expectant.
Oh man. And now we got response to me saying that. Okay.
They're saying like, forget it.
Oh, by the way, a callback to earlier in the episode. We were talking about. I was getting confused about a university in an island. One of our viewers was making a joke about Columbia University. Columbia University. I did not get it because I am not familiar with that university, but I know it's in New York.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just sitting here thinking about, were you talking about the National University? Because yeah, we got that. It's
Yeah.
it's National University, which would technically be Columbia University.
Okay. When you guys are commissioned, how much time do you guys actually put into your job? Do you guys work full-time or sessions?
Like in drawing a single image?
In drawing a single image.
I mean, I wind up putting in as much time as is necessary to complete the piece, but you know, that time I guesstimate how much time it's going to take to get it done and charge the client appropriately, like up front, you know. And if I overshoot that because well, I'm being slow, or I decide that I'm going to put a crap ton more detail into it than I originally thought I would, well, that's my own problem and not the client's problem that they then have to like pay for, because that seems like kind of a dick move, you know?
Right.
I don't charge by the hour because I do have to. I mean, this is not me like throwing flattery at my own self. It's just the truth. I know I'm a very quick artist. I work fast, so charging by the hour is not exactly in my best interest. But still, I don't like multi-session images. I normally try to finish an image in one sitting, and the way I work and the way I do my things, I have basically developed a kind of way of thinking where if you're taking too long to make an image, you're probably doing something wrong. So, I mean, unless there's a good reason for it to be taking very long, like you're working on a very complex image or something like that. But normally, like an image like what I'm doing right now is this is basically the rhythm at which I work normally. So yeah, you know, I normally try not to take more than 3-4 hours per image at full, you know, at full. How would I say that? You know, just working.
In total.
Yeah. No. I mean, working at full capacity. I still try to keep it underneath that kind of time. So yeah.
Now, if you guys get a sometimes when the customer offers to pay more for an image, does that slow down your ability to do things?
As in, like, a tip?
For example, if you feel that they are drastically overpaying in what they're asking you to do, does that make you want to then pile on more stuff to it?
Oh,
Wow.
well, normally, I don't know. I don't really get that.
You know what? I'm going to rescind that question. You guys.
No, but it's happened to me. It's happened to me. So I actually can say, when it has happened to me, it's happened after the image is done.
Yeah.
So when an image is done, it's done. Like I try not to go back to images, mostly because if I went back and worked on every single image of mine, trying to get it to a point where I'm happy with it, I'd never finish anything. Like I try to never. I've never reached the point with my artwork where I just look at it and say like, oh, that's awesome. That's just everything I ever wanted it to be. No, that's never happened, and I don't expect it to ever happen. So when a client offers me more money, and it has happened, when I finish the commission and a client has offered me more money for what I did, normally it's because I already gave him the finished image and they just decide that they think they should give me more, and I'm cool with that. You know, it's happened, and it's supposed. I've read even that it's supposed to be worse even if you don't accept something like a tip or something like that, because it's basically like telling the people, no, you have bad taste. You shouldn't. So yeah, you know, I kind of it has happened, and when it does happen, I just kind of enjoy it and take it for what it is.
Amusingly, one of our listeners is actually a commission-a-thon participant, and he's pointing out that he's actually one of the ones responsible for giving you one of your more complicated commissions that you had to take a couple days to finish on.
I have excellent memory.
I honestly know I can't pronounce his name, but I think it's Matic, Mitic. Yes.
He isn't he the guy that commissioned Kill 10 Rats? We're
if you ask a question like that, it is going to take us a while. If you are the guy, you can say yes on that, and we are going to close out the broadcast right now and then stare at the comments and just wait for your answer. And we'll do that in private. But that way we need to end this podcast now, because the recording itself will be 2 hours long at this point. Garth, it was absolutely lovely having you on as a guest.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We will definitely bring you back
awesome.
on.
It was awesome, and it looks awesome too.
Yes, and you guys did amazing jobs in your 90 minutes. So yeah.
Hey, we presented a finished image when it was time. Now we're just going the extra mile.
I gotta ask, did you guys both intentionally dip into the purple on purpose?
I honestly have no idea.
I didn't. I just think it's a very spacey color. So.
Okay.
I will admit something though. I do have something to admit. I do read Star Powered, and before the whole Sketchcast, I went over and gave it another look. You know, kind of. I kind of like to give it a certain vibe and all that kind of stuff, and you know, it's got a very bluish, purplish kind of tone somewhere.
Those are I tend to drift towards the blues for whatever reason.
Yeah, so you know, I kind of at first I even thought like, hey, you know, I'm gonna grab a cast character and actually draw that, but you know, I kind of left that idea on the side. But yeah, you know, I kind of went with purple because I was looking at Star Powered before the show.
Okay, so given that we're totally offline and waiting for that answer, or we're still broadcasting, I'll just put this as our closer. It was a Warhammer 40k Sisters of Battle image.
Oh, yes, I remember that one.
And with O's memory returning, we're going to hit the stop broadcast, and thank you very much for listening.
I had to